What's up, you guys? Welcome to a new video. So it is currently 12:21 on a Thursday. So HP and I actually just got back from vacation. We went on a mountain biking trip in Bentonville, Arkansas. Which was really fun, a much needed vacation, except for the fact that HP separated his shoulder about 7.5 minutes into mountain biking on the very first day. But today is returning back to reality, and that means that I have a lot of work to catch up on. So I'm going to be taking you guys through some of the things that I need to do in order to get things caught up from the week. Here we have my 2008 Ford Escape, which needs to be desperately cleaned. Doesn't look too bad on the inside, but man, the outside is dirty. So we are in my Ford Escape, and let's go take it to the car wash to prep it for its week-long rental. It's going out on tomorrow. Good at work-life balance, which is why doing what I just did, going on a 4-day long vacation, is something that is pretty rare. In fact, up until recently, I only did it about once a year. And whenever I did it, I never actually set myself to be out of office, which means I essentially was just working, but from another location. I kept my Turo bookings online, and I just hired somebody to help me out. I kept my emails active, I kept my client calls and my consultation calls and all those sorts of things active, and I really kind of refused to take proper time off. I was gone in Bentonville for 4 days. I left on a Saturday, came home on a Wednesday, today's Thursday, and now I'm catching up on all my work. And to say that I am not good at work-life balance would be an absolute understatement. I think that it's something I am horrible at. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure that it's something that even really exists. How do you do work-life balance, and how do you merge the two, especially if you're somebody who really likes to work and really likes doing what they're doing? For me, going to Bentonville was kind of the first real vacation I've had in probably 4 or 5 years. It was the first time ever in my Turo career where I blocked off my cars and did not allow people to rent my cars during that period of time. It also was the first time in my entire career where I actually set an out of office. I didn't respond to emails. I didn't accept meeting requests. I didn't do anything. And that was a pretty big deal for me because I've always been the type of person that has merged my vacations around my work and have been able to, I feel like, juggle those two things pretty well. But it really wasn't until a couple of weeks ago where I just was starting to feel burnt out. I was starting to feel tired. I was starting to feel just really not in it. And that's when I was like, okay, I need a vacation. So now that I'm back in Dallas, I'm back trying to get into the swing of things, and I feel really good. Which then brings me to the point of this video, which is, what is work-life balance and how do you accomplish that? And to be honest, I don't know what the answer to that question is. One of the unfortunate realities of COVID-19 is the fact that you can no longer just simply vacuum out the cars. You actually have to disinfect everything, which is where these Lysol wipes are an absolute lifesaver. You see, for me, there really is no such thing as work-life balance, and it's something that I'm actively trying to improve on and get better at, because for so long in my teenage years and in my early 20s, I really did believe in the mindset that you see on the internet, that you see on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and so many other platforms. And that mindset is the mindset that you need to work 24/7 in order to figure out what you want to do, in order to build a business, to build a future, and then you can enjoy that later on in life. And though I do agree with that mindset to an extent, I think that mindset is extremely toxic, because it sets people up for these types of behaviors, like exactly what I've been doing my entire career, which is working just nonstop 12 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week for years. And then the only way you take a break is if you can physically not go forward any longer. And that's what I've done to myself time and time and time again. I work nonstop. I work just like an addict for weeks, months, years at a time, and then I end up hitting a wall. And once I hit that wall, a number of different things can happen, from me getting an anxiety attack to a panic attack to just simply losing my work motivation altogether. So that has been something that I've been trying to work on in 2020, and it's been kind of the perfect time to do it because the world is kind of moving at a slower pace given the pandemic. And that's been my goal, is to try to figure out what is my work-life balance and what does that look like. This is the next car that needs to be cleaned, my Kia Rio. The other thing that's extremely difficult about a work-life balance, and I'm sure it's something that all of us are experiencing today, is the fact that so many of us are working from home. And this is something that I've been dealing with for the last 2 years since I started working from home, is that once you start working from home, the balance and the line between work and home life becomes really, really difficult. And if you're somebody like me who prefers to stay home, that doesn't really go out with friends, it doesn't go to bars or restaurants or parties or things like that, it's even harder because so much of my day is spent by myself. HP works from 8:30 to 8 a lot of days, which means from 8:30 until 8 p.m. whenever he gets off work, I'm oftentimes by myself. And if there isn't anything else to do, then why not work? You see, for me, the issue lies with the fact that my office is right here, which is 10 steps away from my kitchen, which is 10 steps away from my living room, which is also roughly 10 steps away from my dogs at any given time. But the problem is that we are not machines. We are not meant to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We simply cannot work like that. And the fact is that in today's social media culture, we've been taught the exact opposite. We've been taught that it is okay to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's okay to never want to take a day off, because at the end of the day, whenever you're older and you've grown something, you can then enjoy the fruits of your labor. But the problem is that mindset, in my opinion, is not sustainable. And I know that it's not sustainable because I've lived through it. Is from the age of really 17 until 25, which was a year ago, I felt like it was almost a badge of honor to simply work for 12 to 15 hours a day straight with no breaks. But the fact of the matter is, we can't sustain that because we aren't machines. We're not meant to work like that and to still work at our highest potential. And that's what brings us to the point of this video, is how important it is to have a work-life balance, even if you don't feel like you need it. Because at some point in time, the working 24/7 mentality is going to catch up, and it's going to have a drastic effect on you, your productivity, and your mental health. So that begs the question of, how do I handle my work life and home life balance, and do I have any tips for you guys? Well, unfortunately, I don't have that much advice for you guys, and the reason is because this is something that I myself am still working through. But I do have a couple of pieces of advice that people gave me, specifically my therapist, and I think that these are all helpful. The first tip is to have boundaries. One thing that my therapist always tells me is that if you worked a regular 9 to 5 and your boss wanted you to work 24 hours a day or 15 hours a day or 18 hours a day, what would you say to that question? And what would you say to that demand? 99% of the time, unless you really love your job or you really are a workaholic, the answer to that sort of demand is simply going to be no. That asking your employee to work 18 to 20 hours a day is simply unrealistic, and it's quite honestly a little unethical. So if you are somebody who is self-employed and you find yourself working really long hours, one tip that I got that I think is super helpful is to look at it from the perspective of like an HR department, and to see, is what I'm asking of myself, is it realistic and is it sustainable? And if you're somebody who's working 18 to 20 hours a day, the answer is no, it's not sustainable and it's not realistic and it's not fair to yourself. And so ask yourself, is this something that a normal boss or a normal HR department would be okay with? And if the answer is no, then maybe reevaluate what you're doing. The other piece of advice that I got is to determine when and how you're going to determine your end of work day. For me personally, these are my to-do list. This is my to-do list for today, and it's currently 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So once I finish this to-do list, I'm done for the day. I don't care what time it is. I don't care if it is 9 o'clock at night. I don't care if it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Once I finish this to-do list, I am done. The other thing that I learned from my therapist is that whenever you are done, turn off the lights and then walk away and end your day truly. And once your day is over, then simply end it. Don't go back into your office. Don't go back into your workspace because your day is over. Now, work-life balance is something that is super hard. And even the stuff that I have talked about in this video for tips and tricks that I've been told on how to do a work-life balance are still things that I don't even execute on a day-to-day basis. I have been told a dozen times to end my day around 6 o'clock, regardless of how much stuff I have left to do, and yet I still physically can't do it. I still have to get that to-do list done. And there are many, many times where I've turned off the lights, I have exited my office just to go back in an hour later and do some more work. But the fact of the matter is, work-life balance is super important, and it isn't as easy as just laying out these guidelines and then following them seamlessly. If you're somebody like me who is truly addicted to work because you enjoy what you do, you find fulfillment from doing what you're doing, it is really difficult to step away from work, even if it's just for a few hours a day. But the unfortunate reality is that people like Elon Musk, who supposedly can work 24/7 without any negative repercussions, those people are few and far between. And I'm not even entirely convinced that Elon Musk is as productive as Elon Musk says he is. You need sleep. You need balance. You need to find fulfillment outside of work for the sake of your mental health, and it's really important to find that balance that works for you. For me, this is something that I'm still actively working on, and I'm still so far away from where I need to be, but I'm also so much further from where I started just a year ago, whenever I really started to acknowledge and recognize the fact that my work-life balance was becoming a real issue in my day-to-day life. But with that being said, you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this video. I know that this is kind of different than what we've done in the past. I just got back from vacation and just didn't feel like sitting in the studio today recording a typical video. So let me know how you like this new style of video. I can definitely do more if it's something that you guys enjoyed. And no van update for this week because of the fact that we were out of town. We couldn't work on the van, but the van update will be here next Friday. Also, I am almost done looking through all of the applications for the $1,000 giveaway. Expect a video coming out either Monday or Tuesday of next week with my top 5 winners for that giveaway, or the top 5 contestants. But like always, if you guys enjoyed this content, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps this channel. It means a whole lot to me, so I would greatly appreciate it if you could do that. And also hit that notification bell and hit that like button while you guys are at it, and I will see you guys in the next video.